Brad seemed more relaxed tonight than he has in the last week or 10 days. Maybe he's dying inside, but on the surface, he seemed more relaxed.
Well, I think it's something that he was worried about getting here. Once you get to the medal round, that's the first step that you have to go. He definitely would like to have a better record. But I think if he's going into the dressing room relaxed, it's going to show on his team on how they come out and approach this game. And this is one game that you can't go out there and let the butterflies control your hands.
Ron Roosh has made his way from down in the corner at ice level up to the broadcast booth. A little bit of tension here tonight, sir.
Oh, you could feel it everywhere around the gateway down there where the ice machine, the Olympia as they call it, goes off the ice. People are leaning over. What do you think is going to happen? Can we beat them? It's been like that all day, really, around the Saddle Dome. People are here to watch other games, but they're all pointing towards this one tonight, including that man, of course, who has done so well, Victor Tikhonov, running this team over the years, a full decade. And he now is up against it a little bit. He knows he's no longer in first place. If he loses, it's going to be a real scramble down the stretch.
Here we go with Hampshire against Larionov as the Soviets and Canada are underway here in Calgary. Number 4, Tony Stiles for Canada. Bouncing it off the boards, and Ken Berry deflects it in. This is Fetisov back for the Soviets. Stick handling out of there to Larionov. He tipped it ahead, and here comes Karutov, number 9. Into Canada's zone. Karutov, bumped by Stiles, cuts back of the net, flying to center. Karutov does, but Stiles there to break it up, and now Trent Yanni carries out for Canada. Long shot. Milnikov handles that. Took no chances. Sherman was cutting in, and Milnikov held onto it, and then a little push by Hampshire at Fetisov.
Well, Vyacheslav Fetisov, he is part of the team that won a silver medal in 1980, so he is in his 3rd Olympics right now, and his last. There will be a number of players, about 6 or 7 of them, who will be leaving this team after the game on Sunday, which will be the final game of the tournament. They like to make their changes just as the Olympics end. You remember, of course, Tretiak retired. His last game was the Olympics of 1984. And they will build for 4 years, adding and replacing and so on until they have a team for 1992.
Here's the line for Canada of Tambellini, Poplinski, and Bilgroff. Randy Gregg and Zarli Zalapsky on defense, and here's Zalapsky shooting it down the ice. Back as Biakin couldn't clear it. Canada hold it in, dump it behind the net, but there to take over is Semyonov, number 30. He drops it back for Gusarov, number 5. Alexei Gusarov flips it into center ice. Soviets on the attack is number 25. Yashin shot it back to the net. Unable to center was Pomatov, and Canada starts back with Steve Tambellini getting it to center. That's as far as he got. Now coming back the other way, Svetlov trying to center. Poplinski intercepts and cleared it out of there. Now back in the zone, we're going to get a penalty as number 25, Yashin, was upended. And I think Randy Gregg may have caught the eye of the referee.
Well, it was right in front of the referee, and Gregg just upended Yashin as he was cutting across in front of the net. And so Canada gets itself a penalty it really didn't need or want to take. Watch directly in front of the net. There it is, a cross-check. Knocked him flat.
Number 21, Randy Gregg.
Well, Ron, I'm surprised at that penalty because the one thing you don't want to do is put this team, the Soviets, on the power play. And really, that player in front of the net was not dangerous because the Soviets didn't have really good control of the puck. I think it's a little nerves coming through on Doctor.
You want to hear a good power play stat? The Soviets are 12 for 24. That adds up to 50%. They're dangerous. And they're on the power play right now. Here come the Soviets. Bekov, number 27, cutting in, dropping it back. Shot just wide of the target by Homatov. And Canada able to clear it out of there. And Kamensky, number 13, has to go back. Leaves it for Homatov. Now to Bekov. Into the zone, but offside. And anyway, Trent Yanni was there. And you see him being a little bit physical with Bekov. Dave King, by the way, said Canada wants to be physical tonight. Not that they're going to scare the Soviets, but just to throw them off their game every little bit they can.
You play the game physically, you throw anybody off the game. It doesn't matter who it is. You want to bump, you want to bang around a little bit. Look at Kaminsky there, who was a hero during Rendezvous last year.
1:30 left in the penalty to Randy Gregg. It was a roughing call, by the way. 1:20 the time. Kasatonov, number 7, back to get it. He and Fetisov, the point men in that KLM line up front. Larionov, Makarov, and Krutov. And they drop it back to Kasatonov. Out on the wing for Krutov. Gives it to Makarov. Back on the point, Kasatonov centered. Burke cleared it away, and then Harpin knocked it into the corner. Here's Makarov. To Fetisov. Over to Kasatonov. Centered, deflected by Krutov. Makarov now dropping it back. And number 2, Fetisov to Kasatonov. Into Larionov, but the pass hopped over his stick. Krutov to Kasatonov. Into Makarov. Centered, intercepted there on a good play by Schreiber, and Canada cleared away.
I want to tell you about a great play Wally Schreiber just made. He was in his own end zone, had lost his stick. He switched with Von Karpin, so he was on the corner of the box that was closest to the bench. He went to hit Fetisov and grabbed his stick at the same time. Very heads-up play.
Still 17 seconds left in the penalty. Larionov, number 11. And unable to hold it in was Kasatonov. Now he feeds it to Krutov. And hacking away at him is Sherbin. Here's Kasatonov carrying in. Penalized player Gregg is back on. Larionov for the Soviets. Worked over by Tony Stiles. Now into the corner it is Krutov. And Canada intercepted. Here's Gord Sherbin to Ken Berry. Long shot. Nolnikov handles that easily. And back comes Fetisov. No score. Canada's just killed the penalty. Puck dumped in by Kearney for the Soviet Union. Jim Waters back to clear it. Stolen in front. Here's a chance, and Mogilny taken out of the play before he could shoot. And Waters starts back for Canada. Played it off the board. Hustling in after it, Malinowski. And then back for the Soviets is Gusarov. Clearing it out of there to Mogilny. Now into center ice, onto the stick of Womack, and he's checked. And back comes Malinowski. Into Jim Poplinski. Bumps there in the corner with Kearney. Now back of the net, Biakin, number 7. Trying to clear it. Felix held it in. Shot it back to the net. Malinowski put it right through the crease. And then it's cleared by the Soviets with Felix back to get it. Here's Womack moving in on left wing. Check from behind on a big defensive play by Ken Yaremchuk. And back comes Yaremchuk. Shot it in, but Semyonov intercepts, and he comes right back for the Soviets. Burke makes the save. This is Zalewski feeding to Tambellini. Steve Tambellini dumps it in for Poplinski. He charges in after it. Couldn't get it centered now. Juan Bildraw, number 18. Taken out by Kravchuk. And it's cleared out on left wing for Yashin, number 25. And Randy Gregg feeds Poplinski. Canada attack. Jim Poplinski with a drive. Nolnikov save, rebound. Zalewski shot blocked. And back comes Yashin, number 25. Has Svetlov with him. Yashin trying to move in. Tried to stuff it in, but Burke held the post. Made the save. And then smothered it. Still no score in this game.
What emotion Canada is playing with. I think that's the player down there in that pile up in front of the net. And Poplinski, I don't know whether he's arguing. Yashin went down. He was checked down the other end of the ice, and I think that's where his problem came. He got back into the play, but then when he got back up the ice, I think he finally said, heck with this, and sat down for a little bit. But there's going to be a penalty to Poplinski here through all of this. But Canada is playing a tremendous hockey game in terms of the emotion. Watch in front of the net now. It's number 24, Poplinski. There it is.
So Poplinski, the game's second penalty at 5:31 here in the first period.
I think an indication of the emotion was that play by Yaremchuk. When he came back and just made a terrific play coming back. He took a cut on that. I don't know whether that was that play or the play down the other end of the ice. He really was nailed heavily up against the boards. as the play broke up the ice.
High sticking the call against Poplinski. Canada may be fortunate they didn't get more than the 2-minute minor run. With the injury, I mean.
If in fact it happened in front of the net. As I say, he was involved down the other end, too. He was slow getting up from that.
So the Soviets on a power play where they are 12 for 25 at the man advantage, and Canada clear it out of there. Kasatonov and Fetisov, the point men. But up front, they have Bekov, Kamensky, and this man, Homatov. Bekov feeding it into Homatov. Into Bekov, back to Fetisov, winds up, shoots, missed the net. Homatov, number 15. To Kasatonov, return to Homatov. Into the corner to Bekov. Back to Homatov. Centered, Bekov checked and cleared away, but not out. Fetisov held it in. Shooting one, and that hit a leg and bounced into the corner. Bekov tied up by Stiles in the corner. Bekov gets loose, and Homatov trying to center. Soviets on a power play. Homatov to Kamensky. Missed Homatov in front of the net, and Hampshire clears it away.
Dan, Ron, watch how tight the Canadian box is when the puck is in deep and the Soviets are working it out of the corner. The Canadians are giving the points to the Soviets, but the Soviets aren't taking. They're trying to make the little cute pass.
Here comes Makarov to Karutov. 45 seconds left in Canada's penalty. Makarov to Fetisov. Moves it to Kasatonov in front, deflected wide by Karutov in the slot. Now Makarov into Larionov. Back to Fetisov to Larionov. Other points to Kasatonov. To Fetisov, shooting, and Burke a pad save. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Fetisov, a good play to hold it in. Into Karutov. Now to Makarov. Tries to move in. Back to Fetisov to Makarov. Side of the net to Karutov. Centered, deflected wide as Kasatonov moved in. Canada get it, and Tim Waters cleared it out of there. And cleared it too high, just as Poplinski returned from the penalty box. And an excellent penalty-killing job by Canada.
Well, Canada has had 2 penalty-killing situations, and they have, in the 2, given up only 3 shots total. So they have done a tremendous job in the penalty-killing department. And again, what Brad mentioned, that tight box and a kind of a movable box where they're managing to keep the Soviets either one side of the ice or the other, or moving around the perimeter.
Face-off coming up deep in Canada's end of the rink. George Sherbin out to take it. Now he steps aside, and Malinowski will take it against Tierney for the Soviets. Soviets win it. Here's Biakin. But a good play by Sherbin to steal it. Sherbin trying to get it to Malinowski. Checked in the play. Soviets come right back. And coming back is Sherbin to Malinowski. Malinowski checked from behind by Biakin on the play. And Biakin cleared it, hit his own man. Now they do clear it into center ice. And there's Yaremchuk, number 13, getting it into Sherbin. Sherbin for Canada. Check from behind, and back for the Soviets, the young forward Mogilny moving in on right wing. Mogilny checked, and Randy Gregg cleared it. Got it into center ice to Yaremchuk, and then he circled back. Back to center ice, but broken up, and the Soviets go back with number 29, Kravchuk, starting to carry up. Cleared to center. Back comes Canada. Boisvert moving in, and a backhander by Schreiber wide of the net. And then the Soviet goal is knocked loose. Meanwhile, Canada thought the Soviets should have had a penalty on the play.
Well, a body check's a body check. I think that's allowed in the game. But the fans now are just hoping that the referee will start to try to even things up. I don't think you're going to find it.
No, the Canadian defense are doing a wonderful job. Just in that last penalty that the Canadians had to kill, Wally Schreiber again made an unbelievable, not an unbelievable play, the right play, where Kasatonov went to the net for that goal mode pass, and Schreiber picked him up at the top of the circle, took him all the way to the golden net, all the way to the net. Sean Burke blocked the pass as it came across, but that's what you have to have that guy in the box doing. If that defenseman goes, you go, then the defenseman in front of the net doesn't have to worry about him.
Chance for Canada from the face-off. Boisvert's shot wide. Brian Bradley, who's out with Boisvert and Shriver on this forward line, trying to center. That's the Soviet Stelnov trying to tie up the Canadian player in the corner. Canada get it loose, but can't get it centered. Serge Poivert, one of Canada's best snipers, got it in behind the net. Poivert again into Bradley. Brian Bradley. To Poivert, but back is Kravchuk for the Soviets. Clears it out, and Yashin, who was injured earlier, shoots it down the ice. Burke lets it go, but the Soviet player got to it first, so there's no icing. That was Svetlov. Now Canada get it on the boards to Chris Felix, number 23. Into center ice. Taken there by Bradley. Brian Bradley. Long shot. Milnikov handles it easily. Kasatonov. Round on the board to the other wing, and here's Sergei Yashin, number 25. Yashin moving in on left wing. Randy Gregg tied him up. Steered him in back of the net, and this is Poklinski right back for Canada. Poklinski trying to go around Fetisov. And now the play had been called apparently on an offside, but it's rather difficult to hear the whistle here tonight.
Players didn't hear it, and it's very difficult for us to hear it too, as the player just on the left wing side had cut in just ahead of Poklinski as he carried the puck over the line. Poklinski made that move just before the line and put his own man offside. That's Steve Tambellini there, who's playing pretty well in this kind of hockey. Last 3 years in Vancouver, but a first-round pick of the New York Islanders. That is junior hockey in Lethbridge, Alberta. Trent Yanni's an interesting story. This will be the 58th game that Trent Yanni has played the Soviets in the last 3 years. Now, he's on his way to the Chicago Blackhawks after this is over. Probably the best defenseman that Canada has, the captain of Canada.
Here's the face-off, won by the Soviets. Kamensky got it to center. Randy Gregg flips it in. And Fetisov has to go back. Here's Fetisov right in front of his own net. Lost it to Bilgram, but there's the strength of Fetisov as he fought off the checker and then got it to Kamensky. Meanwhile, play is called, and Randy Gregg and one of the Soviets,
Kamensky,
collide.
Yeah, and they kind of looked each other in the eye, but you don't want to drop those gloves, and you don't want to get into anything that'll get you tossed out of the game, whether it's Kamensky or Gregg. So they just looked and averted their eyes and stepped aside.
A line for Canada, Malinowski, Poklinski, and Vilgra up front. Pekov and Tambellini on the faceoff. I think I said Malinowski. It's Tambellini. Back to the point to Gregg. A drive right on, and a glove save by Milnikov, the Soviet goaltender.
I'll tell you something. Poklinski's going to have to watch himself, or he's going to cost Canada dearly here. He's lost his temper twice now. Right there was another one, and that was the one thing they were concerned about with Jim Poklinski. Now watch number 24 there. Now they do a little jousting. Now if the Soviets know they can get to him, they'll try. I mean, the one thing that Canada has been noted for over the years is its lack of discipline. Recent Olympic teams have not been that way, but Jim's got to remember he's not playing in the National Hockey League right now, and retaliation is not the norm.
Bilgram with a shot wide of the net. Canada trying to center. Bilgram to the corner, comes up with the puck. Beckhoff took him out of the play. Bilgram continues to grind on those boards, but Beckhoff comes up with it. To Homatov, he missed it. Zalewski a shot. Hit Bilgram, then Milnikov got his sticker, his blocker up to knock it away. Centered to Tambellini, but Kasatonov clears to Homatov. Homatov, number 15, moves in, shoots. A bouncer that John Burke played carefully. Scooped up and just held on to.
Well, again, Poklinski down on the boards on the far side, took a swing at somebody. He's on the bench now. Sean Burke there. He could be the difference before this night is over. He's the type of goaltender that can win games for you single-handedly.
Well, he definitely does make it easier on a team in general, because the Canadians will fall back and will give the perimeter shot. And you can do that if you've got a tremendous amount of confidence in the guy who's standing between those pipes. And Sean Burke has established that. The Canadians will give anything on the outside, but they won't give him the easy tap-in.
On the contrary, Dave King told us, Ron, he does not think the Soviets have that much confidence in their goaltender, Milnikov.
I don't think they have confidence in either one of those guys, but neither one of them has really had a lot of work in this tournament so far.
So this should be an edge for Canada.
This is it. Now Yanni and Karutov are getting at it. So you can see as we look there at Larionov, watch him take the draw. He has got maybe the worst face-off percentage in this whole tournament. Larionov does not take a face-off very well. Watch it win it cleanly now.
Hampshire wins it. And here's Berry. Just over 9 minutes remaining. First period, no score. Here's Sherbin, number 10. Tried to shoot it in, but it bounced over the glass and into the crowd, and we're down to 8:53 to play. Shots on goal. Canada 4, the Soviets 3. That despite 2 power plays by the Soviets.
Well, Larionov, just to give for the statistically minded out there, has won only 27 of 75 faceoffs coming into this game. Hampshire, conversely, has won 63% of his faceoffs, 82 of 129, which tells you also with 129 faceoffs how often Dave King uses them in key faceoff situations. There's another faceoff won by Canada.
And that's one of the reasons he has the Hampshire, Berry, Sherbin line out against that Soviet green unit. That's his intention as much as he can. Here comes Berry. Lets the long one go. Milnikov steered it away, and Karutov starts back. Karutov, number 9, feeding it through, and offside was Biakin. And we get a stoppage in play. One of the few times you don't see all 5 members of the green unit out there on the ice at the same time. Right now, they had Gusarov out on defense. And now both teams make a change. Meanwhile, both teams doing a little bit of bumping and trying to get the edge on the other guy at every whistle.
They are, and I think that Dave King's team and the Canadian team is doing something that the Canadians didn't do a few years ago. They're giving little cuffs to the Soviets, where a few years ago it was punches. So we got a little different strategy. But the Soviets are playing a little bit different type of hockey. The last 2 times the Canadians came out of their end, it was a 1-4 defense. 1 guy in, 4 guys out at center ice. They're counting on a turnover by the Canadians at center ice.
Here's a lead pass. Mogilny upended on the play by Harpin. He got away with it, however. Harpin now back to touch the puck, and it's icing against the Soviets. Watching the way they're making contact after the whistle reminds you a little bit about the Nordiques and the Canadians, or the Oilers and the Flames. A playoff game.
Well, it's just a kind of a feeling out. There's the parents of Merlin Malinowski. Watching, of course, their son, Olympic play. The Magician scored a goal last game. Gave us an indication of why they gave him that nickname when he was in the junior, playing with Sudbury.
Here's Kravchuk clearing it away for the Soviets. Back is Jim Waters to touch it. And that's another icing call against the Soviet Union.
There's a terrific addition, Tim Waters. Very much an underrated defenseman, I think, in the NHL. You played against him, Brad. He came out of the 1980 team to go to the NHL on the Winnipeg Jets. He's been very steady, not spectacular. To get him in this kind of hockey, under the scheme of the Dave King style of play, he fits in perfectly.
He does, and having that international experience really helps him. He does all the right things. He moves the puck well. He's exceptionally good one-on-one. We've seen him get beat once in this tournament, but that was against France. Nobody was concentrating very hard against them. But Waters will do the right thing at the right time, and he's got that NHL experience now. So he's got the mental toughness to play against these fellas.
2 guys hard to beat, Brad. Number 21 on the far side, Randy Gregg, and of course Waters when Randy's on the ice. But either one of them, they just give that rock-solid feeling back there.
They do. You know, you look at guys, Gregg and Yanni, you think a big defenseman in the NHL like a Bill White or a Dale Rawl from years ago, who you couldn't outleg them, and you couldn't, they had those long reach.
Here's Yaremchuk dumping it in. Kravchuk back for the Soviets, shoots it around on the boards. Chris Felix held it in, into Yaremchuk. Yaremchuk trying to center. Now does center, but it's picked off there, now stolen by Malinowski. Couldn't get the shot away. And the Soviets go back with number 21, Tierney, beating it out on left wing for Lomakin. Number 23, Andre Lomakin, loses it. Got it back again, and it's dumped in. And going back is number 23, Chris Felix for Canada. Felix up the middle, getting it to Yaremchuk. Now leaves it for Brian Bradley. Ahead to Schreiber. Schreiber into Boisvert, shoots off a stick as Kasatonov just got a piece of it. And the Soviets come right back the other way. That's Mogilny trying to go through the defense. But Randy Gregg, as you pointed out, knows how to play the man, and he did it right there.
Stepped right into him.
Now Zalapsky getting it in. Fetisov there to shoot it back out. Soviets, Yashin, number 25, moves in. He's checked, and Randy Gregg again flips it into center ice. Here's Bradley for Canada. Into the zone, trying to leave it for Boisvert, but Semyonov intercepts. And here comes Yashin, has Svetlov with him. But Randy Gregg stays right with Yashin. Now Fetisov at the point. Shoots one, deflected. Burke had a beat on it all the way. And even though Semyonov deflected it, Burke able to grab it.
Well, you know, watching this, I know why the Soviets don't like playing Team Canada. I'd be frustrated if I were playing them. There's no room out there. They're jumping on the Soviets right away every time they get the puck. They're finishing their checks beautifully. Now, the Soviets may eventually go on and win this hockey game, but they'll know they've been in a struggle. It is really difficult. Meanwhile, Canada is kind of counter-punching. They're looking for the opportunity, just that little turnover inside the zone that they might be able to put in the net and see if they can hold the one-goal lead.
Loose puck came right in front of the net, and Burke was able to grab it as Tambellini went to play the puck. He was kind of hooked, and the puck slid right into the Canadian goal crease.
Every whistle, there's a little bump, just a little, remember I'm here. And it's not only Canada is doing the Soviets. Krutov has done it a couple of times, too. They're all talking to each other. There's a certain amount of feeling out there.
Oh, yeah, this is like sparring. I mean, you know the game's 60 minutes long. You want to establish your trend. You want to make the people aware of you that maybe they don't want to play this game. And that's what the Canadians do. Even the Soviets are doing it. They're strong guys. They're not taking anything out there.
6 minutes, 16 seconds left in the opening period. No score. Canada and the Soviets. Here's Tambellini getting ready to face off with Bekov, number 27 for the Soviets. Bekov wins the draw, but the shot is blocked, and Canada come up with it, and it's cleared out by Malinowski. After it, Poplinski has the man with him. The Tambellini shoots, missed by about a foot. Canada's best chance of the game. Shot to center, and Homatov for the Soviets moving in. Homatov trying to get it in front. Knocked away by Stiles. Here's Bekov back on the point. Shot wide of the target by Gusarov. And then Tambellini tied up his man. Here's Kamensky. Stiles knocks him down. And then to make sure, just jumped on top of him. And we get a stoppage. No score here in the first.
We saw it coming. We all went downstairs and huddled in corners. When we came out, it was just a pile of rubble.
Edmonton, July 1987. Byers Transport was hit by a tornado. An IBM System 38 computer was buried under this rubble.
You know, I really didn't think we had a company anymore. But over the weekend, IBM salvaged our computer, got us replacement terminals, and had us back up and running by Monday. You just can't imagine the efforts that IBM has made on our behalf.
With Ron Roosh and Brad Park, Dan Kelly at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. No score here in the first period. Canada and the Soviets. Here comes Mark Hatchide into the zone. To Gord Sherman, shoots one, and that hit Stelnov and bounced into the corner. And the Soviets come right back out of there. That's Larionov, but checked by Zalapsky, who fires it back in. Milnikov leaving it there, and this is Stelnov to Krutov. Missed him, and Tim Waters fires it back in, hit the referee with it. Here's Stelnov for the Soviets, back to Kravchuk. He's on the attack, number 29. Igor Kravchuk trying to center for Krutov. Now Krutov flips it into the corner. Burke back of the net will shoot it on the glass himself. Gets it to Sherman. Couldn't get it out. Here's Larionov near the blue line. Shoots Burke. A stick save on a shot he just saw at the last second. And then it's cleared by Canada.
Well, it looked easy. That was a tremendous save because he did not see that puck until the very last instant and then got that pad out and the stick and kicked it away. But Larionov had just turned and just drifted a little floater towards the net. Here it is now, and this is a good view of it, too. Just a little floater, and then that instant he saw it, he kicked it out. His Out in front was Ken Berry, number 9 for Canada, screening off his view. He's got tremendous reaction.
I was watching Ken Berry on that last shift, and him and Makarov were doing a heck of a dance. They should have been in the figure skating. He had a hold of them. They had their sticks locked. They were together for a good 20 seconds out there.
Here's Kearney against Yaremchuk deep in Canada's end of the rink. Kasatonov at the point, a shot. That's blocked into the corner. Lomakin tied up on the play by Tony Stiles. And then Canada's Von Karpin flips the puck into center ice. Here comes Yaremchuk, but back was Fetisov to intercept. He gives it to McGillney. And then a shot to center ice.
Kazatonov's on the limp. He's heading off to the bench now. That collision hurt.
Canada back in their own zone. Number 4, Tony Stiles, wearing a different style helmet since getting that concussion in the early part of this tournament. Back is Trentiani for Canada. On the boards, Yaremchuk, number 13. Ken Yaremchuk carries outside the line, checked by Kearney. And here's a chance for Mogilny. Moves in, missed the net. He had Lomakin with him, but elected to shoot, and he missed by about a foot.
Stiles getting a little too anxious at the blue line there to throw a body check, and he set up a 2-on-1. McGillney just missed.
There's Soviets on the attack. Semyonov tied up on the play. Randy Gregg comes up with it. Couldn't get it out as Gusarov held it in. Into Svetlov. Svetlov knocked down by Zalewski. And here's Zarley Zalewski for Canada. Fires it in. Biakin back to get it, but Boisvert knocked him off the puck. In to help out is Canada's Schreiber. They drop it back to Zalewski. Behind the net to Boisvert. He missed it. And Gusarov clears it into center ice to Yashin. Now to Semyonov. Over to Svetlov. Shoots Burke, a stick save. And it deflects up into the crowd, and we're down to 2:49 remaining in a tension-packed first period.
Tension isn't the word. You realize that at this stage with these two clubs, we've got a grand total here in the first period of 11 shots. 6-5 favor the Soviets right at this moment. Only one great scoring play, really, and that was Tambolini from Poplinski. Here's this chance, and had it all the way. The other one, Larionov let that little floater go that was kicked away by Burke. He saw it at the last moment, but the best scoring play was clearly the Canadian one. Tambolini getting in front of the net on that rush from the blue line of Canada all the way up into Soviet territory by Poplinski.
There's a little pushing and shoving between Chris Felix and Homatov. Off to the right of the face-off, and the referee comes over that way now. Just that little jabbing that both teams are doing to try and get the upper hand. Bektov battling on the face-off. Got it. Kamensky's shot blocked. Now Homatov, but he's taken out of the play by Felix, and Poplinski cleared it to Vilgra. Juan Vilgra, nice behind the back pass to Tambolini, and Canada able to clear it out of the zone. Here's Homatov, number 15. Vilgra ties him up. Homatov centered. Loose in front. Couldn't get the shot off. Here's Kravchuk's shot blocked. And it bounces back to center, and Stelnov is there for the Soviets. Over to Kravchuk. And he just dumps it down the ice. Hustling back for Canada, Tim Waters. That's icing, and then Bektov takes Waters out of the play. And we're down to 2:06 left in the first period.
This kind of reminds me, Brad, of two sumo wrestlers kind of a hold of each other, and they're one's trying to get a little edge, and they're kind of pushing and pulling, and nothing's happening, and nobody's giving an inch, and a little intimidation and a little glaring, but nothing really is happening out there. And if you love this defensive style of hockey, it's being played letter perfect out there tonight.
Well, the interesting thing about it, when you get a low shot game like this, a low-scoring game, is you always know that one goal, any goal at any time, can be the difference. So the pressure just brings more drama to this, and you can feel that the butterflies are gone in these teams. They are ready to go after one another.
Here's Makarov. This is the line you have to stop. They do most of the Soviet scoring, and Stiles broke it up there. And back comes Hampshire. Into Sherman. Shoots. Milnikov got a glove on it. And then it ricocheted wide of the target. Soviets come right back. Larionov to Makarov. Leaving it there for Fetisov, who comes up with the play. Then he missed his pass to Larionov. Pinching in is Biakin, number 6. Got it into the corner. Barry can't clear it. Here's Fiakin to Larionov. Larionov got away from Stiles to Krutov. Big save, Burke, and Makarov missed on the rebound. That's the Soviets' best chance to this point.
Got behind Burke, but Yanni was right there and cleared it out of harm's way.
Fetisov back to get it to Makarov. Just over a minute to play in the first period. Makarov trying to feed it through, and Gregg was there like the Rock of Gibraltar to break it up. Here's Tierney trying to carry in. Now Mogilny and Malinowski ran into him. Fiakin fires it in. Burke lets it go because it will be icing as Zalatsky goes back to touch it. 48 seconds left and a little after the whistle action again with the youngster Mogilny, one of their stars of the future, involved for the Soviets.
All right, let's watch this now. Here it is. Yanni got himself a little out of sorts there when he fell down. He got back into the goal mouth, but here's the shot. It went off and rolled through the goal mouth on a backhand, and there was Yanni who positioned himself quickly back in the goal mouth, and he cleared it out of harm's way, Brad.
Well, Trent Yanni got cut by Larionov, and you wouldn't see it unless you look for it. But Larionov had a hold of Yanni's stick behind the net, so when the puck came there, Yanni couldn't use his stick to pitchfork or get on, and Larionov held his stick, took the puck, skated away from him, and then just threw it in front of Krutov. A little thing like that, just letting some guy tie up your stick at the wrong time, can produce a good scoring opportunity.
48 seconds left in the opening period. No score. Big face-off as Tierney, number 21, takes it against Brian Bradley. Bradley gets the draw to Felix, but the shot blocked. Mogilny has a break. Waters chasing Mogilny. Burke the save on Mogilny. And then Felix able to clear it out. Canada got the center. Kravchuk knocks it down. Back the other way comes Tierney. Tierney all tied up by Waters. And now Canada's Barry or Bradley got at the center. To Boisvert to Bradley. Into Boisvert. Cuts in. Shoots, and that hit the skate of Kravchuk and bounced away. 15 seconds left in this opening period. Kravchuk ahead for Lomakin. Wrist shot right on. Burke, very confident, makes the save. And it's cleared by Felix to the line, but not out. 3 seconds left. They just drop it back to Burke. And this opening period is over. No score. Canada and the Soviets. Soviets out shooting Canada in the period. 10-6. But a scoreless game after 20 minutes of hockey here at the